It's Laura Radulovich with the Ferrari Home Group, and today I am joined by Rhiannon Ferrari, our team lead of the Ferrari
Hi.
Home Group. Hi, Rhiannon.
Hi, Laura.
The reason I have Rhiannon here with me today is because I found that her and I are both having the same conversations with our clients and getting a lot of the same questions from people who are unsure if this is the time that they want to move. Is 2021 the year? We've all had a ton of changes in 2020, some good, some bad. And for some people, this is a great time to move. And so I wanted to see what you think of some of the top reasons I find that people are moving. Number one, something that has affected my family as well, is a lot of people are no longer commuting and working from home. And typically, when someone would reach out and say they were looking to buy a house, it would be kind of in a perimeter or with a driving distance of their office. And now that really isn't super important anymore. So what are you telling people that call you, Rhiannon, that say, I think I want to move, but I don't really know where?
Yeah, so I think it's a really great opportunity for people now because they're able to open their searches to areas that they had maybe never thought about. And a lot of that also plays in with the schools. Some people aren't as attached to schools as they were before. So I know I've had several clients last year that had moved for the same reason. They no longer had to commute, or school district wasn't as important to them anymore. And so they had lots of other opportunities. So it's been good for us.
That's good. Yeah, I know that it's been funny. I've had a lot of people reach out that are looking for more rural properties when they've always lived really close to downtown, working in downtown for forever. So it's been really fun to learn about new parts of town with people, with my clients looking for acreage and learning, being able to educate them on this, what it means to have a septic system now, because you're not on city sewer or water. And really, I feel like it's giving some people the opportunity to live their best life because they're not really limited to being in a certain area.
And no water bill.
And no water bill, for sure. So the number two reason I feel like people are reaching out is that there is a lack of space for working at home or schooling at home, or really just lack of space, period, now that we are stuck home all the time. And it seems to be much easier to move to a larger house than to do an addition, which ends up being a lot more costly than finding a bigger house. But what do you think about that? Do you feel like that's where a lot of people are calling you too?
Yeah, and I think most people are wanting to avoid a construction zone at this point with kids being home and all of those
Oh,
things.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So the additions do not seem nearly as exciting as they were previously. I've seen definitely an influx in people wanting to build. So building exactly what they want because their priorities have changed, or definitely needing a home office, or, a place for the kids to do school. So I have multiple clients, even staying in the same neighborhoods, but just building a different house that meets their needs. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess the thing with new construction, if you think about modern floor plans versus the house I'm in right now, my house was built in the 60s, which doesn't really have a formal office space. We've made work with what we have, but the modern floor plans that builders are building, pretty much all of them include a set office space, or at least a flex space in the front of the house that can have doors shut for quiet. They're having full basements, so you have a little bit more space. So I think that's been a huge selling point to new construction for people that haven't really thought about it before.
Yeah, for sure. And it also helps with the situation of not being so competitive for buyers. So you're not competing with other people, not having to do all the hoops that everyone's jumping through as far as appraisals and gap coverage and as is, and getting a new home exactly what you want, but not necessarily having to be the traditional buyer in this market that is frustrated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've noticed a lot of the builders are building more spec homes. And for those people that are watching that don't know what that is, a lot of the times the builders will start building a house so that way it's maybe a month or two out from being completed instead of 9 months if you were to go build your own with a builder. So there are options for people, I feel like, just a lot more lately, the builders that are understanding more of that need for the new construction. So there are options of spec homes in almost every neighborhood and with almost every builder in town.
Yeah, and we, our team specializes in new builds all over Central Ohio. So we have new build reps in every community that we can, set people up with if that's something they're interested in, to just get that, idea and the process started. And so, we have every builder in town from rural to close to downtown, all of those things. So I think it's a good opportunity for buyers if that's been something that's been on their mind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so number three reasons why I think I'm getting the most calls, and not everyone might know this about their house, but if you currently own your home, I'm getting calls because of equity. I've noticed that the houses in my neighborhood are selling so much higher than they did even a few years ago when I bought my house. What does that mean? That means I have more money for a down payment. Um, uh, you know, that's a lot of questions I'm getting. I'm glad that I can help kind of clear some of those things up. And I think it's also important to note that a lot of times when some of our buyers and sellers have so much equity in their home, they're able to move to a bigger, more expensive house, but keep the same payment because the rates are so low and they have so much more for a down payment now.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm a perfect example of that. I personally did that last year. So when I bought my house in UA a couple years ago, I planned on staying there for a long time, but the amount of equity I had, and then the like my knowledge and knowing how quickly I could sell it and for top dollar was a huge motivation to why I moved to a much larger house just around the corner. My payments aren't much more. I was able to get the house that I really wanted instead of feeling stuck somewhere that didn't really work for me and my family.
That's awesome. And even
Yeah.
if it ends up not being the time and you have equity in the home, I've already talked to a lot of my clients that have even purchased homes in the past just couple years that have refied and saved hundreds of dollars a month and pulled some of their equity out to do a home improvement project.
Yeah.
And those are perfect for the people that maybe just moved 2 years ago that aren't really ready to do that again, but see that there's definitely some value adds in their property. And I mean, you're saving hundreds of dollars a month. So
Yeah, and I think the good news on that is I don't think the average person knows exactly how much equity they have in their house. And so we get calls all the time. Like I have one in contract right now in Gahanna where another agent told them their house was worth 175,000. We're in contract closing very shortly for 230,000. And so that's a big difference
oh
to
my God,
somebody,
yeah,
right?
for
Yeah.
sure.
So, I mean, I think that most people don't really understand how much their house is worth. And we're definitely able to do that for free for any buyer. Just give us a call and we're absolutely able to run numbers for you and give you a really good ballpark. And so you could at least have that conversation to start, like if this is even an option.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell people all the time, even if you think you don't want to move for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, keep in touch, ask every 6 months. We're happy to tell you if things have gone up, gone down, stayed the same. I mean, that's part of our job too, is just, again, educating everybody. So I think the more everybody is educated, knowing their options, everything just is better that way.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So those are definitely, I think, the three biggest reasons that people are calling me. And if whoever's watching, feels like that one of those situations describe you, I mean, definitely give us a call, and I'm happy to give you more information. I know that the biggest hesitation with some people reaching out is just what's in the news and what's being covered and how kind of crazy the market is. But I think we're also here to tell you to be optimistic. And how many people have we helped? Did we help in 2020?
Just under 230 families in Central Ohio. So, it is, somewhat of a seller's market, but buyers are in a lot of good positions that we can, really focus on, not necessarily all being multiple offers or all doing all these crazy things that buyers have to do. We have lenders that can get really creative with financing and different strategies when we're writing offers. We have, since we are a large top team in Central Ohio, we have lots of off-market opportunities for buyers. And so there's a lot of ways, we work with builders, like we said before, as far as logistics and timing things up with maybe building a new home, rent backs. There's lots of options for people. So those are definitely things we would love to discuss because our offers are being won and our buyers and sellers are moving and they are finding houses. And so contrary to what the news and social media are saying, it's absolutely still a wonderful time to both buy and sell in Central Ohio.
Yeah, that's perfect. I could not agree more. And again, don't be discouraged. We are super optimistic. And even just having a conversation, we both Rhiannon and I, if you know us, we will be completely honest and tell you if we think this is a good time to buy or sell, or we'll tell you based on what you're telling us, maybe a home renovation is the best thing for you. It all depends. And again, that's what we're here for all the time. And you know, whether you have a family member or a friend that's been kicking around the idea because you, or a coworker that you know is struggling at home because they don't have a door to shut for their office, send them our way. We're happy just to kind of talk about options anytime. And we just really want to help as many people as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's nothing I love hearing more about a past client calling me and me being able to tell them that their house is worth so much more than they think it is, or being able to tell someone how much equity they have in their house and they might really be able to use that cash for something positive, whether or not their current situation is positive or not. I think there's a lot of opportunity that this market can help someone in all of those ways.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, thanks. I loved chatting with you today and just kind of hearing your feedback and being able to spread the word to everybody that we can. And feel free to call either of us if you have any questions. Have a great rest of your week.